You don't need 6 hours and a multi-tab spreadsheet to plan a road trip. If you have just 30 minutes, you can plan a trip that feels spontaneous, smooth, and unforgettable. I'm Teresa from An Acre in the City, and I've visited all 50 states and over 80% of the National Park Service sites, and I've learned how to plan fast without missing the good stuff. Most people waste hours planning trips they'll never take. Or worse, they miss the best part of the trip because they didn't know it existed. Let me show you how a 30-minute plan can be better than the one you overthink. I've done the whole thing, where you spend days planning every detail, and I ended up missing one of the best drives of my life, all because I didn't even know it was there. That's when I realized fast, focused planning works better. So why do most people get stuck before they even start? They overthink the perfect route and get paralyzed by the choices. The secret is to start by answering just 5 things. Everything else flows from there. The core 5: start point, end point, number of days, lodging style, and 1 to 2 must-sees. If you get these 5 decisions down, you can plan almost anything in less than 30 minutes. It's not about planning everything, it's about planning the right things, especially when you're trying to please your parents, your kids, your friends, or even your partner, without losing your mind. Once you define the core 5, planning goes from chaos to clarity. If you can answer those 5 things, you're already ahead of 90% of the people that are still deciding which Airbnb has the cuter curtains. So how do you actually lay this out without wasting time on clunky tools? Google My Maps, or even a printed map, gives visual clarity fast. Most people only use Google Maps for navigation, from getting to point A to B. Type in point A, type in point B, and hit go. And then follow the line. That's fine once you're on the road, but that's not great for planning. Tools like Google My Maps, or even a good old-fashioned printout map, give you a completely different perspective. Instead of thinking turn by turn, you see the big picture, how far things really are from each other, which routes are scenic versus fast, and where interesting stops cluster along the way. That visual clarity helps you instantly spot where you're overstuffing the day, or leaving huge gaps that you didn't notice. So instead of jumping from 8 tabs on your computer screen, drop in the 3 to 5 places you want and instantly see what's realistic. Some of my best road trip plans didn't happen in some big weekend planning session. It happened in my lunch break, at work. I grabbed my sandwich, opened Google My Map, and started dropping pins for an upcoming trip. I used a mix of ideas from previous adventures, notes I'd saved in my phone, and a few must-see stops that I pinned on Pinterest. In less than an hour, I went from a messy list of maybes to a clear visual route. I could instantly see how the stops lined up, where we might need to spend the night, and which places were just too far out of the way to bother with. And that's when it clicked. Planning doesn't have to feel like work. It can actually feel like the start of the adventure. That one quick planning session during my lunch break saved me hours of second guessing later, and the trip ended up running way smoother because of it. Remember, you're not trying to lock in everything, you're just shaping the big picture. Planning fast doesn't mean sloppy. It means strategic. If you're the planner, you know. If it sucks, it's on you. A map is the fastest way to go from idea to itinerary. But there's one mistake people make once the map looks good, and I'll share that in a second. But if you need inspiration for stops, I've got 75 plus themed road trip ideas for you, from food to architecture and more. It's linked in a free guide below this video. Now, one rule that keeps your trip from turning into a blur: set anchor points. Set 1 to 2 stops a day that you'll actually plan around. Let the rest flex. Serendipity happens between those anchor points. Most unforgettable moments happen between the things that you plan. Trust me, you don't need to choreograph every bathroom break to have a good time. Set boundaries: driving hours, booking musts, and rest days. Structure creates freedom. When everyone's fed, happy, and discovering something cool, you'll thank yourself later. Anchors let you feel spontaneous, without the stress. But even with all this, you need one last thing to make it effortless. When it comes to road trips, a 30-minute plan almost always beats a 3-hour one. It's not because the shorter plan is less detailed, it's because it's focused. When you use templates, planning systems, and a simple decision-making process, you move fast. And fast planning creates clarity. A slow plan, on the other hand, just invites overthinking. I learned this the hard way on a trip to the Southwest. I spent hours, and I mean hours, mapping out stops, reading reviews, building the perfect itinerary. But when we hit the road, it felt rigid and clunky. We rushed past one of the most scenic drives of the entire route just because it didn't fit in the schedule I obsessed about. I'd spent all the time planning and still missed the best part. I then thought, this is ridiculous. I'm missing the view because I'm following my own stupid schedule. And if you're traveling with others, this matters even more. Don't be the person that planned the mid-trip just because you spent 4 hours Googling stops no one really even cared about. Momentum beats perfection every single time. It's not about how long you plan, it's about how you plan. Okay, so now that you have your 30-minute plan, your map looks amazing, and you know how to keep things flexible. But here's the thing. A lot of great plans still fall apart because people book too much or not enough. That's where most trips go off the rails. So before you hit the road, click the video on your screen right now. I'll show you exactly what to book in advance and what to leave open so your trip feels effortless and adventurous.